Welcome back with a new video. Today we're going to be talking about the Mine Top 10 tier list, and of course I do have a little bit of some at the bottom. They're good, they're just not top 10, like White Zangetsu, Baragon, Gremi, Retsu, Koga, all of them. All these units here are good, they're just not top 10 material in my eyes, right? So let's start off the bat on auto. So you're going to be asking, how do I tell which was the top 10? So obviously they are in order in terms of S, A, and auto. In terms of NAD units, I just put them at the end just because of, you know, rank 8 and 9, even though it's not true, but it just makes it much easier to really understand because they are NAD units. It's a little bit harder to explain them and try to put them inside a list, specifically on top of SP units. So the way I decided is to just make them their own tier list, right? So technically it's the top 8, right? Realistically, because if you just look at SP units, it's top 8, but realistically, in my opinion, it is the top 10. I will add them later on near the end of the video, right? So let's talk about it real quick. Let's start off with the auto unit. So Byakuya, he recently came out. He's a fierce battle unit. He is a phenomenal NAD unit. No complaints about him. 50% Berserker, 50% Bruiser, 60% Berserker, 50% Bruiser, Flurry Marauder, and then he has a melee damage 10% and 30% in Guild Quest, Poise, and Sprint +1 with a strong attack recharge inbuilt into the character. He has a lunge, a vortex around himself, and a full screen. He's a perfect NAD unit, but I do put him behind Kisuke mainly because he is a melee unit. If he was ranged, I would definitely say he's one of the better ranged NAD units because it is much safer, especially when it comes to the likes of co-op. You could auto with him in co-op, but it's not going to be as safe or as clean as if you use Fierce Battle Kisuke. Now next, let's talk about Kisuke. Kisuke being one of the better autoers out of the two, right? So let's talk about it. Kisuke is a NAD unit with a super link slot. I'm not going to count it though, but he is a ranged NAD unit with guard break, which is pretty self-explanatory. He does have a shield barrier on his SA2, which is phenomenal, which is really what allows him to auto Cobalt Quest on top of him being ranged. His strong attacks are not that great. It is going to be a 40% mag, a suction vortex pushback, and it's going to be a full screen. Other than that, that's pretty much it in terms of talking about NAD units. They are phenomenal units. Both of them are really, really good. In terms of damage output, I would definitely rank Byakuya higher than Kisuke, but in terms of survivability and more safety, it's definitely going to be the Kisuke, especially when it comes to co-op. Specifically co-op, I will say Kisuke is better, but probably in Epic Raids and PvE and all that. Could argue that Byakuya is better, but it's just that shield barrier is really going to help out a lot in the long run. So that's pretty much going to be the NAD units. Now let's go on to the SP units. Number 8, it is going to be Candice. Yes, a surpriser. Candice is rank 8. It's not her fault that she's been falling down lower and lower and lower on the list. It's just that the way K-Lab is moving forward is that power creep is actually insane, right? It sucks that all these 1,000-year blow units are having the 20%, while we are in the new meta of 40% Berserker being the norm, right? That's just how things are going to be moving forward. So, do not get me wrong, just because she's number 8 does not mean she's bad. She's actually a very, very good unit. I am a simp for Candice, and I love her. I think she's great. So, 20% Berserker, 20% Bruiser, 20% Havoc. Literally, 12% Recharge, a Rock Guard Killer. Status elements is going to be paralyzed on everything, which is nice, and then she has on top of that weakened defense, devastation, debilitator 5 seconds. Overall, her kit is perfect. You could argue a beam is better than a lunge, but she does have a lunge. It's a 475 lunge, a 960, and a full screen. Really can't ask for anything more about her. I do love her. I think she's a fantastic unit. With Sprinter +2, she's able to zoom around the map, but in nowadays age, it's like 40% Berserker is just the norm, right? She's good. It's not her problem. It's more of just Caleb increasing the power creep, and she's just falling behind a little bit, right? So I can't wait. Hopefully we do get a new Candice later down the line, because obviously in the next year or so, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, say next year, right? The year 2023, Caleb bumps up the Berserker to 60%, right? I wouldn't be surprised. Look at the units we got last year compared to the year before. The power creep is actually insane in terms of what they're doing. More or less the later half of 2021 is when the power creep did jump up. And yeah, I mean, I do love her. I think she's a great unit. There's no complaints about it. It's just that power keeps moving up, and that's pretty much it. She's a great unit, fantastic unit. I don't blame her if you use her, but I do rank her 8th in this tier list. Next, it is going to be Bankai Shinji. Now, not Bankai Shinji, TOA Shinji, I'm sorry. He got his resurrection, and he did not need much on the list. He really did not. He is actually a phenomenal unit. I do love him a lot. Now, therefore, let's move forward, right? So, he has a Berserker 20% on top of his 25% strong attack damage. Now, he's a phenomenal unit. Let's continue on. With 30% Berserker, 40% Devastation, Havoc, Long Reach, Sprint +1, and that's pretty much it. And he has Burn on his SA2, But let's get into it why he's so good. So he has a lunge just like Candice. Yes, just like Candice. Him and Candice don't have guard break. But let's continue on. His SA2 is where things get a little bit, insane, right? His SA2 is going to be the best beam inside the game. It is bigger than Aizen's and Shunsui's SA1. Even the new, I'm pretty sure Nini has it as well. Could be wrong about Nini, the new Christmas one. I'm not too sure who else got this beam, but I do know that this beam is the best beam in the game that Shinji has. Literally the biggest width. It is insane, and for that being an SA2, it's much better than a 960, in my opinion. That's just how things are, right? It's a beam. It's a humongous beam, and it's insane. And then on top of that, same thing as Candice, he has a full screen SA3. Overall, he's perfect. I have no complaints about him. He even has 45% Berserker. With the recharge now, with his resurrection, that is phenomenal. I think he's great. Overall, he did not need much, and Caleb gave us everything that he needed. And yeah, I'm very happy about him, and I'm excited. I think he's very, very good. Next, let's talk about Soichi. She's going to be number 6 on the list. Now you're going to be asking why is she on here, so let's get right into it. So she has double killers, which is being hollow and no affiliation. She has Berserker 20% on top of her 20% full stamp, which is insane. Bruiser 20% debil 5 seconds on top of having a lacerate / poison, which is the first, not the first, but some of the first units in the game to have that with 5 seconds. And then she has Devastation 40%, Frenzy +1, Guard Break, beautiful, Sprinter +1, and Strong Attack Recharge inbuilt into the character, which is beautiful. On top of that, she's going to be a phenomenal link, even if you don't just use her, right? So overall, let's continue on. Now she has immunities, which is insane. She has Fire Duration 100% and Freeze Duration 100% on top of, being as good as she is. So overall, she's immune to 2 things. She has Guard Break. She has a 20% full stamp on top of the 20% Berserker. Kit-wise, she has a 2500 link beam, which is good. Very, very good. She has a full screen, SA3, and then SA2 is going to be the Tokinada Hikone Suction Vortex Pushback, which is a very, very good SA2 when it comes to what she's trying to do. She also has a skill which is combined bonus, increase CPU double team character damage +1. She actually hits a lot. Whoever you are using, say you're using Soichi, not Soichi, Soifon, and you're using Yoruichi. That Yoruichi is going to be doing a lot of damage. Just understand, she does not get the same skills that your Soifon does have, but just understand if they do not have guard, this Soifon is going to be hitting like a truck, or Yoruichi is going to be hitting like a truck, right? So it's a CPU increase buff, and it's actually really, really good. I'm very, very happy how they designed this character, and that SA2 works really, really well with what they're trying to do with this unit. So overall, I think she's great. I love her. Yes, she's been popping up a lot, but now's the time. Hopefully get her 5-5, because I think she's phenomenal, and she'll be good in the upcoming months, even years, right? I wouldn't be surprised, right? Until we get another better tag team unit. And this Soifon and Yoruichi. Pretty top tier waifus in my opinion. Let's continue on. Now number 5 on the list is going to be Garrico. Garrico is absolutely insane. He does not get enough praise as he does. Yes, I hear Aaron hyping up Garrico. He's not doing it for a reason. He's actually really good. Like, Garrico is actually really, really good. That's why I do rank him 5th place. Let's talk about it. He has a 40% Berserker on top of 40% Bruiser, Devastation 60%, Enhancer 10 seconds, Frenzy +1, Increased Heart Droplet Drop 30%, and Killer Effect 30%, 50% in Co-op Quest, and then Multi-Barrier +2, Spread +1. Now, this unit is insane. Not only does he have Multi-Barrier, he has a boost with 3 shields to his entire team while he gets 5. That is absolutely insane. On top of that, he has 30% extra damage when he has Killer Effect, which is insane. And then it's an Arrancar Killer, so Arrancar Killer is pretty common. And on top of that, he does have the hard droplets, but I don't really factor that inside when I'm reviewing a character just because it wouldn't be fair, right? So overall though, in terms of damage, he has a 40% Berserker on top of his 30% extra damage to Arrancars normally. If he's playing co-op, he's gonna have a 90%, let's just say 90% Berserker, right? Let's just say that to make it much easier for people to understand. He's gonna hit like a truck. In terms of kit-wise, it's a pretty good kit. He has a 2500 link beam. He has a 625 lunge boost barrier. Not the greatest, but it's unique, it's different, but it is a boost barrier nonetheless with multi-barrier, so it's going to be a very, very good support character. On top of that, he has a 975. The only bad thing about him is not a full screen in my opinion. If it was a full screen, I think it would have been perfect. But a 975, I'm fine with it. It's not the end of the world. He has enough support in him to let that slide off. So overall though, I do rank him 5th place, and I think he's absolutely insane. He's really, really good. I have no complaints about him. So let's continue on. Next, it is going to be My baby girl Noelle. I am so sorry, Noelle. I do love her. Don't get me wrong. I do love Noelle. But once it comes into this list right here, these next 4, it's absolutely insane. And they are just barely marginal differences in terms of what I would prefer better, right? Or I would rank higher. So let's talk about Noelle. She is a Burn the Witch limited unit double killer, Soul Reaper, no affiliation, 60% Berserker on top of her Soul Trait being 20% sad. So in total, she has 80% Berserker, which is absolutely insane. 40% Bruiser, 60% Devastation, Frenzy +1, Havoc 20%, Nullify range resistance 100%, Sprinter +1, Strong Attack recharge 12%. Overall, I think she's a phenomenal unit. That is perfect right there. So now let's talk about her kit. She has a perfect kit. She has a 3K beam, a 960, and a full screen. Now the problem lies into her SA1 being a little bit delayed, but other than that, it's not really much of an issue. My issue stems from that she doesn't really have any innate skills compared to the newer units that we are getting currently nowadays. Some of these units are getting very, very good kits, and on top of that, they are also getting some extra abilities such as Team Party buff, Stats Elements, Complete Immunity. Like, it's absolutely insane. Overall, though, I think Noelle is perfect. Overall, she's a perfect unit. The only thing she's missing, in my opinion, is just guard break, but overall, it doesn't really hurt her that much. She's hitting like a truck. She's perfect. No complaints. Now let's talk about the next 3 in terms of why I do think they are higher than Noelle. So next, it is going to be Spirits Are Forever With You Beyond Bankai Shinji. Absolutely insane. So he has 1 killer. Yes, he has 1 killer, but on top of that, he has weakening on everything. So he has a Mind Attribute Captain Strong Attack Damage 20%, so he's going to be increasing every single captain, and himself included, 20% extra sad damage, so 20% more Berserker, which is insane. On top of that, he has Element Reversal, the first time we are seeing Element Reversal ever since Udi, which is perfect, which basically means if they inflict you with the Stats Element, you reflect it back, and you heal on top of that, which is absolutely insane. Next, 40% Berserker, 20% Bruiser, and then on top of that, he has Damage Inflicted at full stamp, 20%. Debil 5 seconds, Devastation 40%, Frenzy +1, Havoc 20%. This unit is absolutely insane. He basically has a 60% Berserker with a 20% full stamp, which you could increase, making him T15 and giving him another 25% full stamp, which already he's going to be having 45% full stamp, which is going to be insane already at T15. Oh god, I love this Shinji a lot. And then innate skills is going to be Fire Duration and Freeze Duration, and he has Sprinter +1. Overall, he's literally immune to everything, basically. Because Element Reversal, they hit you with Stats Elements, you reflect it back, and you heal. And then he's immune to the other ones that are currently on the pulls, right? Fire Duration, Freeze Duration being the most common pulls on the floor that can inflict you. But having this allows him to basically keep his full stamp 100%. Yes, he has a not that great kit. He has a good kit. Let's talk about this kit real quick. So the only difference between him and Noelle kit-wise is that he has there's 2 skills, right? A 570 lunge, and then he has a 750 by 750, and then he's going to have a 1200 full screen. Now, a lot of people are not going to like this SA2. It is going to be basically a Bankai Shuhei SA2. I think it's perfectly fine for what this unit is built. How much stuff he has on this unit, all the skills he has, all the damage, all the protection he has, definitely makes him much more better than Noelle, in my opinion. Just in my opinion, right? Obviously, top 4 is where things get a little bit more tricky, but I do think with a little bit less mediocre kit, it balances it out with him having Stats Elements, immune to 2 Stats Elements, Element Reversal, these Team Captain Strong Attack Damage buff, with damage inflicted at full stamp. He's absolutely insane. I think he's great, but I do think he is at 3rd place. Now, you could argue Noelle's better, but he just has so much more going for him compared to Noelle, where she has no Stats Elements and she has no Stats Immunities. It does carry down the line, in my opinion, in terms of how things are nowadays, especially when it comes to IT mainly. It helps out tremendously. Overall, though, great units. I think Shinji's perfect. I do think he deserves the 3rd spot. Next, let's talk about Spirits Are Forever With You Shunsui. I do love this unit. I thought this unit was absolutely dog crap. I'm not gonna lie. Thought he was. 12% recharge. Wait, I lied. 14% recharge. Berserker 40%, Bruiser 20%, Debil 5 seconds, Devastation 40%, Frenzy +1 with Guard Break, beautiful. Havoc 20% and a Heart Link Slot Super Potion. Heart Link Slot Potions +5. I'm sorry, not super, just regular Link Slots. So, he has a 3K beam, same beam as Aizen, the best beam in the game. He has a charged SA3 just like Fugetsu, and then he has a SA2 Homing Vortex, but it's not the initial homing vortex that you guys love, right? It is just going to be the vortex. It's not going to have a 960 into a homing vortex. It is just going to be a homing vortex, which is pretty, I like it. When it comes to IT specifically, it is very, very good. Hence why I do think he is lower than Ichigo being, of course, right? You see it on the list. I do agree that does hold him back, but it does not make him that really bad of a character. And on top of that, he has a chance to inflict weakening on every 5 seconds, which is great. And then he has weakened duration 100%, brilliant +1. So overall, though, kit-wise, I think he's great. I'm not a fan of charge SA3s, but it does pack a punch. And of course, if you are a host, it's going to absolutely destroy. And then on top of that, the SA2 is going to help out so much in terms of crowd control, in terms of IT, and proccing and weakening on top of that with guard break. So he's just going to be hitting that maximum damage all the time. So it's going to be great. It's a 630. It's not a 960 into a homing vortex. It's just normally a 630 homing vortex. Visually, I love this unit. He could be a little bit better, but in terms of his special, it's beautiful. Really, really good special. I love this unit. I think he deserves second place, 100%. I love him a lot. I think he's fantastic. I think he's a fantastic unit. Next, let's talk about number 1, being Daddy Ichigo. No surprise here. Let's talk about it why. Double Killer, Soul Reaper Captain. He has 12% recharge, Berserker 60%, absolutely insane. Bombardment, Bruiser 40%, damage taken minus 16%, Enhancer, Friend +1, Havoc 20%, Marauder, Sprinter +2, with innate skills as being 100% chance to hit dodging Soul Reaper enemies, so very, very good to farm the baby scrolls. Paralyzed duration and weakened duration 100%. Overall, he's a perfect unit. Kit-wise, Beam, 3k Beam, 960 boost, and he has a full screen, and his special can inflict a one-shot mechanic with Bombardment, which overall, he's a perfect unit. There's literally no complaints about him. The only problem I have about him is just no stats elements in terms of IT now, right? I do think you want one Daddy Ichigo and the rest being Shunsui's. That'll probably be the best thing, but he's perfect, right? He has no complaints, especially when it comes to GQ. You could use this Daddy Ichigo in 3 weeks of GQ, it being range and Soul Ripper week, and you can use him in Captain's week. Other than that, that's pretty much going to be it, right? Shunsui, you can only use him in 1 week, while Daddy Ichigo, you can use him in 3. Same thing with Noelle. You want to use her in GQ 2 weeks, you can use her in 3 weeks if you want. No affiliation. Both Soul Rippers, you could if you want, but I don't recommend it. I just recommend her range and no affiliation weeks, preferably, right? Overall, though, that's pretty much going to be the list. I like Daddy Ichigo, surprisingly, still first. But overall, I think he's still deserves it. I still think he deserves first place, mainly because perfect kit, 60% Berserker with the boost. He's actually insane. But when it comes to IT, I will argue that you want one Daddy Ichigo, and then everyone else being Shunsui, because that's going to be the best time to farm. Other than that, though, guys, that's pretty much going to be the list in terms of the tier list. Hope you guys enjoyed it, right? I hope you guys really enjoyed it. There are some things where you could debate about in terms of, like, Candice being a little bit higher, maybe. But I think she's fine where she is, just because the new meta moving forward, it's going to be very, very hard for her to basically compete, right? Because Garrico literally already out-damages her alone, right? Which is absolutely insane. Other than that, though, thank you guys for watching the video. If you guys have any questions, if you're curious about any other units in terms of mine, leave them down below. I'll answer them in terms of why I put them where I put them. Overall, though, I'm happy with the list. Took a little bit time debating, especially when it came to some NAD units. So I decided to do it this way, which is much easier and much easier to really talk about why I do rank them where they are. Other than that, though, guys, that's pretty much gonna be it. And I'll see you guys later on. Peace out.